Welcome to the Rainbow Remix Best of Series Summer Pride 2023. Today we're featuring Michelle Clunie from Showtime's Queer as Folk and singer-songwriter Elliot Lee.
I don't know, like, she's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigar.
Don't be an asshole today.
First in the mix is singer-songwriter Elliot Lee.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Really, it's great to have you. We missed you yesterday. It's okay.
I know. I'm so sorry. I was out in the middle of the desert. I thought I'd have like a way to stop and at a Starbucks on my way to the next show, but then we ended up being like stuck in the desert. So
I love the
Here.
outfit.
Yeah, look
Thank
at
you.
So I was crawling all over your website, and I was like just stunned. Like, why have we not heard of you? I'm in London, so I guess that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll make your way over here. But
Hopefully soon. Yeah.
yeah, it's great to have you here for our listeners and our viewers. This is Elliot Lee, and you're a Brooklyn-based musician, singer, and songwriter. And I was telling JD that I found your music. It had like this explosion of pop, but these moody, angsty lyrics. And so is that what you were shooting for? Were you like, let me get my angst out in this music because people will connect?
For sure. Yeah. Like music is just kind of my outlet. So for a long time, I was really bad at telling people how I felt and like the struggles I was going through, but I had a lot of them. So I was just kind of bottling them all up. And music was just kind of like the only way for me to get it all out into the world. And through that, I found out that it helps other people too, because then they hear what I'm saying that they're also afraid to say, and hearing me say it helps them feel less scared. So yeah, it's definitely like a lot of stuff that I'm just too scared to say without music behind it.
That's a really good way of explaining it. Yeah.
Yeah.
JD is a songwriter too. Do you find it, Jay? Do you find like you get your things that you wouldn't normally say out unless you put music? Yeah, yeah.
It actually is a great way to express your feelings that otherwise are hard to say. And then you do find other people really relate, and they'll come up to you and say, that's my story, or that made such a difference to me. Yeah, definitely. It's a great outlet, especially if you aren't easily able to express your feelings. That's definitely a great way to do it if you're a music artist and a songwriter.
Absolutely.
So how did you discover that you had a talent? Like how did you just sitting in your bedroom with a keyboard or recording stuff, or is that
Yeah, for me, I guess like I've been a singer. Like I love to sing. I was in choir in middle school, so like it was a little passion of mine. But I never could write music. I just was like, I'm not able to do that. I'm not even gonna try. Like in my head, it was not possible. And then yeah, like I guess in college was when I really sat down. I had a ukulele because everyone kind of had them back then,
Yeah.
and it was like super easy to learn. Exactly, super easy to learn, simple. So it was like my one little instrument. I was in a college dorm, so I had to be kind of quiet. I couldn't have like a rock guitar. So I would just sit there with my uke and just kind of like sing my feelings. And I started like, well, I'm kind of good at this, I guess. Like what I made me happy. At least I like to listen to it, which is all that mattered to me back then.
right?
So then I just kind of kept doing it, and it just resonated with people, which is really cool. I don't know why, but it did.
That's great. And you find that LGBTQ community is warm and embracing?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think like 90% of my fans are probably LGBTQ for sure.
And what about for you? How do you identify?
I identify as non-binary and queer as the umbrella term. I used to like have a lot of specific labels that I was like, maybe I'm this, but then I realized that like queer as an umbrella term for me works really well, because it kind of just like I'm in this label, I'm somewhere in there, and that's all that really matters until like maybe we're dating, then we could get into specifics or whatever, but
Right,
I'm under
right.
the umbrella, Yeah.
And how did you feel about like putting out music that's a pretty niche, group that you're appealing to. Did you, as far as like management goes, do you just go up to them and say, look, I'm a queer artist, I just want to get that out of the way up front, and
Yeah, I definitely think that like I know I mean I never really said that up front, but I think it like once you get to know me, it's a little obvious. And like yeah, I think I never really I guess tried to appeal to queer people, quote unquote, but like it's just who I am, and the people who like get me are just like me, so they end up also being queer, and just works out. I think a lot of I mean obviously not everyone who gets me is queer, but I just think it ends up being in that world of people who understand what it's like to, I guess, like put on a mask and pretend to be someone else because of not being accepted and all that. And that's a lot of the themes of what I deal with, and loneliness too, which I know a lot of queer people feel lonely because that's just like part of being queer, especially like in any state or country where it's not accepted,
Yeah, definitely. I remember that we used to get some emails from people back, as early as like 2006, 2007, from these places that, to be honest with you, I never even heard of. Before all this was going on in Ukraine, I didn't really even know about Ukraine, but we got an email from a girl who asked us if we could send her some merchandise from the Lesbian Lounge because
That's awesome.
she found the podcast and could only listen to it, when she was alone and or had her earphones in, and
Right.
it was like heartbreaking but heartwarming at the same time that
Definitely.
you're reaching people for the right reasons, but it's sad that this is, like that was like she said, this is my own. On Wednesdays is the only time I feel myself because I'm listening to you guys and I can relate,
That's
and
so
it was
sweet
just like,
though.
geez, yeah, it's really,
I mean,
it's,
it's awful, but it's also very sweet that she even was able to find you.
yeah, I know it always, that kind of stuff always blows my mind. Like someone's out there looking, and that's really why we do what we do, because sometimes I think people do have a hard time and they don't have immediately know what resources are out there for them, or
That's
what
true.
what's out there for them to connect to. So we like to spotlight people, especially right now, it's Pride Month, maybe,
Yes, it is.
to kind of share our finds with people, and hopefully they'll connect, or they'll reach out, or they'll whether it's to us or directly to you. So we should say your website is elliottlee.com, right? And
Yes,
it's
it is.
one
Yeah, and
T.
I'm also on all social media platforms. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, everywhere. Basically, if you Google Elliot Lee, I think like a list of like social medias come up. Anyone you use, I'm on it. So
That's great. That's great. And I always like tell it's one T. Elliot
yes,
with
one T.
one T.
Yeah, Elliot one T. I know people do the two T's.
How do you get your music out? How is your main way of performing and sharing your music with the world?
So at first I was going through like SoundCloud and stuff because I didn't have like a distributor or anything like that, and I was just like, well, I just want to put it out in the world, like YouTube and all that. Now I
Yeah,
go through an independent label called Photo Finish, and they put it out. They help me put it out, which is really nice. I don't have to worry about all that stuff. And then yeah, I perform all the time. Right now I'm on tour actually with Hobo Johnson, kind of going through. I was in Arizona, now I'm in Texas, and I have a couple more shows until I'm back home in New York City. So
that's
yeah, I've
very
been touring a lot.
exciting.
So
Are
yeah.
you originally from New York City?
I've lived here for like 6 years now, but I was not born here now.
Oh, because you don't sound like you're from Brooklyn.
No, I was born in Washington State, and I kind of moved all over the U.S., so I have like a mixture of accents from everywhere I've been. Yeah.
So did you go to New York for your music as a better outlet? Better,
Definitely, yeah,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. Because I was in Tampa, Florida for college, and that's where I like first started writing music. And that's
yeah,
not really like a scene. There's like kind of an underground music scene there, but not really the kind that I was looking for. They were kind of like this weird like experimental thing going on that like
yeah.
wasn't up my alley. And I just wanted to go somewhere where I had more like ability to get my stuff out there. And like Central Park, I would go busk all the time when I first moved there. And
Yeah.
yeah, my dad was actually also already moving there, and I was like, "Can I just come like sleep on your couch when you move there?" And so I kind of tagged along, and yeah.
This is not the Florida is not the place to to do original music to perform. I was just talking about that with a musician today, actually. It's not a state where they embrace that.
No, not
People
really.
embrace that, New York, Nashville, obviously, Austin, LA. There are certain places where it is more embraced than covers, but definitely
Definitely.
not Florida. So, yeah.
No.
JD's living there right now.
Oh, you
Right?
really? You're there right now?
Yeah, and I did a show in October that was such a big deal to me because the whole show was originals and my story and my
wow.
music. Yeah, and it was a ticketed venue, but that's rare. That was a
Yeah.
really big deal for me. Now I'm playing that same venue in a month, and actually 2 weeks, and I'm doing a cover show, a tribute to the women of the '70s. So
Oh, wow.
that's a no-brainer, that kind of a show, because people love Carly Simon, and I'll do some of my music in there, but usually it's just 90% of what you say the show's going to be. But yeah,
Right. That's amazing though. That's cool that you got to do original stuff. I know that can be hard for sure in like the South in general if you're not in Nashville.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And I think
Yeah.
I like, for me, when I was on your website, like I watched the videos, as opposed to just going to Spotify and listening to a song, because then I get to see your interpretation,
Yeah.
like of your music, and that was pretty fun. Like Dirt is really good.
I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, Dirt is pretty cool. And so
Thank you.
like, is that what you're like when you finish a show and the people come up to you and like talk about your YouTube videos, or
Yeah, people, I mean, actually, so I'm on my third tour ever, which I've done. This is my third now in the last 3 months. So I've just been kind of on tour, opening for people. So far since I've been an opener, no one's like really heard of me before the shows. So they come up to me and they're like, all they've heard is just my performance opening, which is actually pretty cool for me because then I love performing. It's kind of like where I feel the most comfortable and where I feel like I can really get myself out there. So it's cool to be like showing these people who I am for the first time in like my favorite form, which is on stage. And then from there, they like go and find me and they'll message me on Instagram or whatever and be like, oh my God, you're so cool. I like your music videos and stuff. But yeah,
that's really cool. And is it just you and tracks, or do you have a band with you?
just me and tracks. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I just kind of go crazy on stage and jump around and sing. And yeah, it's a really fun one.
Yeah, that sounds freeing.
It's very freeing. Yeah. I tried to have a band for a while, but actually, we had like a difference of opinions in like socially, like I started speaking more about like my queerness and gender and they didn't like that, so they both left my band, and I'm like, well, that's fine. If you don't want to be with me through that, then bye. Like that's my whole thing. That's who I am. So now I'm alone, and I'm glad I'm alone because it's actually been really freeing, and I got to do kind of whatever I want without having to worry about anyone else.
Plus, it's so expensive to travel with a whole band.
It's very expensive. Yeah,
it's almost impossible to do that nowadays, to travel with 4 other people or
for
even
sure.
3 other people. Yeah.
And
the
management company, they've been so great because I was working, with them, through emails and everything. And so do you feel like they really like get you?
I think, yeah, luckily people I've surrounded myself with all really get me and they know who I am. And they're all on my side, which is really nice. Like, I feel like they all, they love how creative I am and stuff. There's no like tension there, which is really nice because I have a lot of like creative energy. Like, I'll be like, hey guys, I have a really cool idea. And it's like, I worked with people before who were like, okay, calm down, like whatever. But they don't do that to me. So it's really nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that's great that, they're not giving you a lot of pushback on stuff that they would like you to do,
it's been very freeing. Yeah, I get to do kind of whatever I want, which is cool.
Oh, that's lucky. Yeah, that's great. That's terrific. Like that, like for someone your age to, you like to be touring, that's just fantastic, let alone touring kind of alone, like on your own,
just me and my best friend who is like my tour manager basically, but I've known him since I was high school, so it's just me and him. He's been driving me around and he's been helping me get my money at the end of the day, and that's it, just us.
Oh, wow, that's great. Do you get nervous going into like we were talking about how you know, in a lot of other shows that, you know, it comes up about how different every state is, whether it's a blue state, a red state, you know,
Right.
whether it's a hate state, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So do you get, like, you're going to Texas, which is just as, you know, big
Yep.
time red state. Like, do you have any
Mm-hmm.
nerves about that, or it's just no, because the people that are coming know what they're going to get?
I think I was definitely nervous before. So I just finished Arizona, which was really nice and welcoming. The people there were at least at the show. And now I'm in Dallas today, and tomorrow's my Dallas show, my first Texas show. I guess technically 2 days ago was my first Texas show, but it's El Paso, which I guess they don't really consider themselves Texas, they told me. They consider
Yeah,
themselves
yeah,
Mexico.
yeah.
So like it was
But
like it
now,
was very blue, and they were very like welcoming. Now I'm in Dallas, which I guess I looked up is a blue city technically, but it's like so big that
Oh,
anyone can live here, you know?
yeah,
So we'll see. Hopefully it's also welcoming. I think luckily the person I'm touring with that I'm opening for, he has culminated like a pretty like, you know, accepting
diverse,
fan base. So
diverse
anyone who's gonna be there is gonna be accepting and cool. But I definitely I still get nervous. Like my tour manager has a hat that says like protect trans kids. And I'm like, maybe don't wear that while we're out in Dallas, just to be
yeah,
safe. Like
yeah.
I don't want to like get hurt.
That's
But
so
yeah.
brave. Yeah. Yeah. It's just kind of weird. Like you said, you kind of look up beforehand to get a feel for what to expect, you know, in each place you're
For
going.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that.
I've been Googling like trans laws in each city just to make sure I'm not like breaking any. I don't know, like, because some of them have like crazy loosely written laws, you know, where it's like, well, if you're like kind of breaking the gender wall on stage, it's technically illegal. And I'm like, well, like I'm kind of doing that. So like, but
Yeah.
these ones I'm in so far have been very welcoming and cool. So
That's good.
hopefully,
Yeah, I know. I was reading something a couple of days ago, you know, about Harry Styles, you know, over here. And I was surprised because he seems like so beloved everywhere else. And yet here, you know, technically at home for him, he gets
yeah,
he gets a lot of hate.
really,
Oh yeah, he gets a lot of hate. I mean,
wow,
I would say, not 50-50, but you know,
hmm,
definitely 70-30. So yeah,
wow,
yeah. It's just surprising. Wherever you go, there's gonna be challenges, but
for
you know, I
sure.
think the lesson that we're all kind of coming away with is, you know, we get that the hate is really, really loud, you know, but we're
Mhm,
gonna keep on keeping on and doing what we do, and
exactly.
just you know, and put it out there. You just, it's not going to stop us, you know. Like,
Mm,
it's
yeah.
one thing to give you pause, you know, and make you have to think about things that you normally wouldn't have to,
mhm,
but that's just what we do. We do what we have to do to feel safe, you know. and,
absolutely.
and that's
And
it. But
I bet for the most part, like you're probably not, I think you're probably meeting more love than hate, I'm thinking, because
Yeah.
like when Denise was down here and we were going to play, we were going to the Pride Fest, I was playing it and Denise was visiting, and we were there as the Rainbow Remix. They
Mhm.
had things, the paper, like, or whatever, the paper, listen to me. You know, things in the media
Yeah.
saying that that we were, you know, they were expecting protesters, especially because what was going on here in Florida
Right.
politically. But we didn't. It was a great time. Like you don't really
Mhm.
meet. I think like the hate isn't as loud as everybody. Like if you listen to the good stuff, there's good
Mhm.
stuff.
yeah,
But the hate,
Yeah, definitely. I definitely found that I think the hate is louder online when people can be behind a screen and not be in real
right?
life. And there's like a
Exactly.
couple awful people in real life, but in general, people tend to be a lot more accepting than maybe
Yeah.
you realize.
That's why,
yeah,
yeah.
And for sure. And I also think, like, for me personally, thinking about being on tour, like, I've always kind of thought of myself as a voice for the voiceless in the way that I speak about things that people maybe don't feel like they can vocalize on their own. And that also extends to queer people, obviously. And I think it's important for me to perform in places where maybe they don't feel like they have a voice, because then they can see me being on stage in these places where, like, they feel like they are hated and shouldn't be there. And then they see me being me and maybe being like them. And that helps them maybe accept themselves a little better. So I know as like a kid, living in Texas for a while, I felt like I couldn't be me because I was like I was queer, but no one could know because if they found out, it'd be like the end.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
so like
yeah,
if I had had someone like me, like if I'd gone to a show where someone like me was on stage talking about being queer, I'd be like, it's okay to be me.
yeah,
So that's why I
yeah.
think it's really
That's
important for me
so
to be
true.
open about it, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
The representation it's out there, you know, and we got to
Mhm.
keep it out. You got to have drag queens reading story times, you know.
Absolutely.
got to have trans kids getting the health care that they need, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I do think that you're right about the media being the way it is. It spotlights and it gives people a platform to think that they're being so loud, because
Exactly.
That was my point.
Yeah,
I think that
yeah.
by putting that word out, they were trying to keep people away.
Exactly.
The
Scared
haters
them.
as the numbers, and people I think are braver behind the keyboard than they are when they go out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be careful because you do get the people who are so extreme. You never really know, but I think on the whole, the media does, like Denise said, like they will embellish that so much to.
Yeah, the media does it, and then hate follows hate,
Right.
and they think that they've got like, some steam, and they don't get that, we're still gonna do what we're gonna do. And and the thing of it is like it doesn't faze me if someone's like, not a hater, but they don't really give a shit. Like I would rather them be like that. Like just do you, you do you, I'll do me.
Right.
You're not bothering me. Like who you sleep with doesn't affect my day-to-day life, that kind of thing. Like I'm totally good with that. It's the extremists that really ruin everything, like
Absolutely, always, of course.
yeah. And because everything is so polarized now, like the division is just so deep that to me it's like actually I used to say it's so political, everything's so political. To me now it's beyond that, it's beyond that. And then that's what's sad, because it's just, it forces us to live with our deepest fears, and push through them on a regular basis. Whereas they may have been in the back of our minds, back in like, 2012, 2013, and, when gay marriage passed, it gave everybody a lot of hope,
For sure.
and then just like 3 years later, we get this dumbass, in office that ruins everything. But I mean, the thing is that we got a little complacent, and now we're just back at having to be situationally aware. But we just have to push through it and do the things that we would normally do and keep our lives as normal as possible. And it's it's tricky to navigate, but I commend people, people that like you and Jay, for going out there and being on stage in front of people and being your authentic selves, and just doing what you love. Like you're not going to let them stop you from doing what you love,
Absolutely.
and being who you are. And that's, like that's just like brave comes to mind, but I think it's inspiring and in all sorts of ways, especially your generation, Elliot, because like you're carrying the torch for us old timers. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Yeah, it's like we need to know that. We need to know that.
For
So
sure.
yeah, it's definitely a good feeling. And and I love that you're doing that, like you're going to be in Texas. That's just huge. Jay, you live out loud in Florida. Like these are big important things. You know what I mean? Like when we have something from LA on, it's like I'm like
you don't get it.
yeah, you don't, but you know what I always say, like our gay friends in California en masse are the loudest. Like we do have that. We have them to thank.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I'm not taking anything away from our New Yorkers.
we're kind of quiet. I think we kind of do our stuff. Like, we have like a loud community within the community.
Yeah, but like your pockets, like your Park Slope pockets and your village, and like
we've got Stonewall though. We've got Stonewall.
That's right.
Historically, at least.
You got the Lesbian Archive Museum there up in Park Slope. Yeah.
Yep.
I definitely want to drop in there when we're there in September.
Where is the one that you're in? Is that in Hershey in Pennsylvania?
Me?
No,
that's in Park Slope.
Oh, that's in Park
Slope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, like that was part of the reason why I wanted to go in September, to like personally bring them some stuff of ours.
Yeah,
That's
Like,
so cool.
they're they don't do a lot digitally because it's literally a museum and a library,
Wow.
so giving them a drive with our shows, it doesn't do much,
right, yeah.
physically bringing them like some of our old show notes and our posters and things like that, so
Wow.
they have like tangible, touchable items. So
Yeah.
definitely a stop in September, and I'm looking forward to it. But
So cool.
it's just a little stop. Like, other than that, I'm just going to be looking for pizza and bagels the whole time.
Oh yeah. For
Oh,
sure.
and Chinese food.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So yeah,
So-
it'll be fun, and
Mhm.
looking forward to it. But if you're there in September, we'll have to
Absolutely.
make you show us around.
For sure.
Yeah,
I
it'll be
have
fun.
to ask about your attire. Do you make
Yeah.
that, and what do you call that look? Because I see chains, but I see like ears and lace.
Are there bunny ears? Are those bunny ears?
Yeah.
Floppy
Yeah.
bunny?
Bunny ears. Yeah.
Puppy
Awesome.
ears. Yeah.
Everyone-
Yeah. I kind of just bring together stuff from everywhere I go, and it looks cool. My manager's stepping in the car right now. You're good. Hello. Yeah, I just kind of, this hat my friend made for me for touring. So I just wanted a bunny hat really bad, and they were like, "I got you. These are actually my prescription. They're my prescription glasses." So
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
I need him to see. And the shirt, I think I just found it a random Hot Topic on the way. I just kind of bring together stuff from everywhere I go, and I kind of like mixing the like soft, like kind of pinks and
Right, yeah.
blues with like
Edgy.
some chains and like kind of a little bit grunge too.
It literally
Yeah.
represents your music. It, like,
For sure.
right? A little soft, a little edgy, a little poppy, a little moody. I love
Yeah.
it. It's like it
It's-
all.
Yeah, I love kind of representing who I am on what I'm wearing, because then it kind of like shows off who I am. Like, first impression is like, that's me. You get it, like looking at me, you know.
Yeah.
Stuffed animal bunny grunge. Like
I love that. That's the best description I've ever heard in my life. I'm gonna use
Bunny
that from now
grunge.
on.
bunny
Stuffed
grunge.
animal bunny grunge. Bunny grunge. That's it. You've named it. I love that.
There it is. That's
That's
great.
it.
Have it.
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, listen, we're gonna let you carry on now. You got your manager there. Fill her in. Tell her how wonderful we were. Hi, we were great.
Yeah, they were great.
Good. I was just in there buying comic books, so y'all do what you need.
We've been going to comic book stores on our day off, so.
That's the kind of chill representation everybody needs,
Yes.
That's great. Well, listen, kick some ass in Texas.
Heck
And
yeah.
we're gonna let everybody know. Elliot with 1T Lee.com. Go check out the YouTube stuff. Dirt's my favorite. And keep in touch, and we hope everything goes great.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much for chatting. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy Pride.
Up next in the mix is Michelle Clunie from Showtime's Queer as Folk.
Ah, there she is.
Made it.
Hi. We were just talking about what a super mom you are, because we were saying we follow your.
It's so hard. Let me tell you, it's first of all, I got to take my jacket off. I was going to wear this nice little jacket, but I think I'm having a hot flash. So
No worries.
that's not going to work. There we go. Woo. I'm a mom to an 8-year-old boy. He's so cute. He's so sweet. I got so lucky. I don't know. I did something right in my life, because me this angel. Like the other day, I was crying because it's just, I'm still homeschooling. It's been 3 years.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Ashla and I are both like, done. We are done. We'll never homeschool again. We are like, that's it. And I just started crying. I was like, I'm so sorry, sweetie. We're going to get you in school next year. And he's like, Mom, don't look at everything you've done wrong. Look at everything you've done right.
Oh my
Wow.
God. He's 8. He's
So mature. Oh my
giving
God.
us the wisdom. Oh,
And he said that to me, and immediately it stopped me cold, because it was so true, first of all. And then I realized too, that's how I speak to him.
Yeah.
And so it comes, kids
yeah.
others, and they speak to themselves the way you speak to them.
Yeah. That's
He's
true.
so like well-rounded. Like it seems like he travels so good and he does karate and he's got the great line, these great observations.
Zingers. Zingers. I'm talking like one time he walked through the living room too, and he has this like, I don't know if it's like an inner Betty Davis or but he walked through the living room. He goes, lies, lies, all lies. And I was like, it must just be like in the DNA to be dramatic, that kind of like the love of drama. I remember when he was about, I think he was 2.5. He was just starting preschool and he was in the den and he was looking for the remote control and he was running around. He goes, where's the Margaret Cho? Where's the Margaret Cho? And I thought he was saying Margaret Cho. And I thought, and I thought, God, my son wants to know where Margaret Cho is. I said, it just must be natural, that he's born into, this like knowingness of Margaret Cho. And I figured it out. I don't sound silly, but I figured it out. He was saying remote control, but
oh man, that's funny. Like, was being a mom something that was always in the cards?
Always. Oh, I had a plan. Oh no, I wanted to have kids by the time I was 30. You know how you're a teenager, you're like, oh, I'm going to have an Oscar by the time I'm 30, and then I'm going to have a kid and get married, and then I'm blah, 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 blah. Right. Then life happens, and some things turn out better than expected, and some, and I always wanted to have a child, and I just, I think my last real chance in like a more like whatever you want to call it, getting married and having a child situation was with this guy I was living with for 5 years, and I couldn't do it. We were set to get married. I pulled the plug. I got cold feet, and I realized that I would be miserable. He just really got on me for like everything I did. Meanwhile, I was paying for everything, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to die in this. I'm going to die in this relationship, and so. After 5 years, I just said, I can't marry you. I'm sorry. And I hope he doesn't listen to this. But I was dying. And I think that it's okay to do that. It's okay. I always tell whoever comes to me, my nieces, younger women, I'm like, look, if it's okay if you're going forward and you just take a left. It's okay.
You got to go with your gut. You got to go.
I woke up one morning and I had an elephant on my chest and I felt like I was having a panic attack, and I said, you got to go. And that was that.
You got to go.
Did you have a problem about that? Was he like, oh, did he like give you a problem? Like, you're killing me. I don't want to leave you. And
it was not for me. It was not, I mean, he was pissed. And, as is usually the case, nobody wants to look at what they've done wrong. Right. I'm not a perfect person, but I do feel like I can be like, God dang, I fucked up, or I did that wrong, or, I have to apologize to that person, keep my garden clean. But most often when you're in a breakup, it's like, I'm the victim. It's like, no.
That's true. That is so true. My therapist tells me you have to be okay with knowing the other person is probably not they're probably gonna hate you. They're probably, at least for a while, you have to be okay with walking away and without them liking you anymore. Like, you have to be okay with that, and maybe with them accusing you of being the villain.
I was watching something. It was probably Anderson Cooper, but it's like, I have to listen to him to fall asleep. Like, something about, it's something about
you to sleep.
his voice is just very soothing and muffled, and I can barely understand what's happening, and I just end up falling asleep. But he had on Pete Buttigieg's husband, Chasten, and they were talking about the Florida teacher, and he said, my biggest argument is that I grew up not seeing anything gay, and it didn't make me straight. Watching or reading something is not going to make a child gay. Because if it worked that way, I would be a straight man. That's all I saw. And I was like, what a simple.
Well, I say to some people, it's like, I assimilated lesbian sex for 5 years on TV and I'm still straight. You can't, like, I stepped Well, that's actually, I have had one relationship with a woman.
So there
Before
you go. It was
that was
research.
before so, you know,
Right, no.
like,
Yeah,
it doesn't-
yeah, but it's, that was one of the things I was going to ask you, because you said your mom was 90, but a couple of years, back, because I met you in 2004,
right?
no, 2004,
Florida.
2005. You guys were coming. We did Issues Over the Rainbow,
Yeah,
like FM radio. Yeah, well, that was like the first time I met Sharon Glass too. And then I ended up working for her when I first moved here in London.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
long weird road. Long weird road. But
know that.
while she was doing Round Heeled Woman, I was like a PA, for a little bit. And she's just a doll. And another one who's such a vocal advocate,
Yeah.
for a poor woman. Everybody thought she was a lesbian from Cagney and Lacey days.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah. But that's just it, is that you can be on a TV program, you can act, it's what you do.
It was my old agency that wanted me to meet with the producers of Beverly Hills Housewives, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh Lord.
And it was like right after Dashiell was born. And I just said, well, it's a lovely thought. And the money was great. But I said, I don't want my son around that. We got enough going on. It's like, I just don't. And I'd be that person that would come on the show and I would just rip everyone anew. Like, I would like, why don't you go do some activism? Go feed the homeless down at the soup kitchen. I don't care about your manicure. I mean, I would just be like, everyone would hate me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why they asked.
Yeah, that's why they asked. Yeah, they're like, you're the perfect person to hate.
Yeah, exactly.
Even what was happening in Hollywood. I mean, like I said, it's two steps forward, one step back. But I have, like my goddaughter. I mean, I know people, girls who are 15, 16, 18, and they're making their own short films. That was not anywhere in my mindset when I was 18.
In the realm of possibility, right?
I mean, I think when I studied with Milton Katselas, then I realized that I could direct, and I started directing, pieces in class, and then I got Queer as Folk. But now it's like, it's great to see young girls just like, yeah, I'm a director. Yeah, I'm writing. Yeah, I'm creating projects. Yeah, I'm creating. So there are a lot of cool things going on. We'll just have to see where this writer's strike, how it all shakes down.
I got to tell you, I rewatch Queer as Folk very often. I go back to I watched it I used to watch it back when it was on. Then I hadn't watched it for years. And I've been watching it again. I started it and I don't know, I think I'm in season 3 now. You look exactly the same. Like, how you must have great genes. Like, you're awesome. Yes. It's like, except your hair is long now, but
perfect skin. Haven't aged at all.
I was watching this morning when Mel and Lindsay were redoing The Attic, and they were watching the lady with the pearls that made everything seem so easy.
That's a great.
So but I had to tell you that I am amazed. You look so good, and
I appreciate that. I really do, because I had my agent came down on me. I had to drop my agent. They were so mean to me and talking about, well, you're getting wrinkles around your eyes and yet I've never had anyone speak to me like this ever. It was just I don't mean to like throw this in at the very end, but it was just really kind of shocking to me, because I feel like there are a lot of women in their 50s working, and they all have wrinkles. And I actually, this is the funny thing, is I've always loved my wrinkles. Like, I love that I laugh a lot, I cry, I let my emotions fly. So I've always like really loved my wrinkles. I think they're sexy. I've had men tell me, your wrinkles are what make you sexy. I mean, I think wrinkles on a woman are beautiful. And so when she said that to me, I was just kind of shocked that she said that. And she said, you look like you're in your 50s. I'm like, I am in my 50s. I'm 53.
Yeah.
It was really shocking. And so we parted ways, and it just was really kind of mean-spirited, I have to be honest with you. And
it's a she?
Well, it's a she, and she also is in her 50s, and her partner is in her 60s, the partner in the agency. And no, it was really mean-spirited the way that they went about it. And it was during a time of the year when it was right before pilot season. So I had to scramble to get representation, which I did,
Yeah.
fortunately. And the representation I got was better and kinder and lovelier and more esteemed. You know, they were just better. So it all turned out fine. It just, I just remember when she said that to me, and I got it. I'll be honest with you, I'm a 53-year-old woman, and I cried. I cried that night. I felt so diminished and
Yeah.
hurt. I felt, and I also felt, I just, it was so shocking that she would
Yeah.
say that to a woman who herself is
Yeah.
the same age. And I didn't understand. I mean, she could have said many things. She could have said, you haven't worked, which is true because I was homeschooling during a
Raising a
pandemic.
child. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have no problem. If you say the facts, then I'm fine. You're right. I haven't worked and I've passed on a lot of things, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
I am sorry. I should have been hustling and making you more money. I mean, I could have that conversation easily, but to attack the wrinkles on my face, it just was a really hurtful thing. And it's like the first couple auditions afterwards, I had to kind of like get that out of my head, you know, I
Yeah.
had to
Yeah. I was going to say that'll play on your mind.
oh my God, it was horrible. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, get that out of my head. Get that, you know, and I had to like watch a lot of like Helen Mirren and all these actresses I love, Meryl Streep. And I have to
Kate
remember that
Winslet.
I
Yeah.
Naomi Watts, Jennifer Coolidge. I mean, name a wonderful actress working right now. The best actresses right now are all over 50. At the audition that I sent her, which was to go to a producer, I was crying. I was playing a mom in my 50s, crying, and it was like an ugly cry where I was like,
Yeah.
but that's the role, that's the job, you know.
Right,
and I've
right.
never been an actress that was about my vanity. I find it so uninteresting, you know. I think it was Steph
Right.
said, you want to fall in love with the art inside yourself, not yourself in the art. Like, oh, look at me. It's like, no, what is inside you, not what is outside of you. And
Right.
so I feel like that's who I am. Everyone knows that that's who I am. And so I was just kind of like, I don't know, it's just so hurtful. I don't mean to like throw this in. I just
It's weird because I would think that, you know, as an agent, you would want to be supportive of your client. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine saying something so negative.
I think her partner never liked me from the beginning. And I could never figure out why. And I probably should never have signed with them. I just knew that my main agent there really liked me for many years. And we had to run. And so I think just her partner never liked me. I never liked her, to be honest with her. She did things I just felt weren't cool. But so it was just anyway, it's an example of how women can be diminished sometimes by other women, you know.
Sadly, by other women.
Sadly, exactly.
And it's not always a man. Oftentimes it is, but also we have to write our stories for each other and make sure that we don't diminish each other.
Right.
You know, so sometimes when it's friendly fire and it's from another woman, it just fucking hurts.
Yeah, that would be, that would stick. That would sting. That would sting. Yeah.
But
I'm glad you got somebody else though. That's
and they're amazing. They're amazing and really doing some good work. The writer's strike happened, so you know things are like simmering right now, but really wonderful. I landed in a good place. So sometimes, as we say, in the rejection lies the protection, you know.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Robert Gant gave me that one. He's a wise man.
Oh, Bobby Gant. Yeah.
Bobby Gant. So wise. Oh, he's lovely. We
had Scott. We had Scott on the show when Adoptables came out.
Yeah.
We surprised him by having Sharon, you know, come in towards the end. It was really cute. Yeah, it was so good.
I love them all.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are so tight knit. You know, he had nothing but good stuff to say about everybody and how close everybody still is. You know,
feels like brothers and sisters.
Station 19 with Peter Page is directing, producing all that. So it's just like, oh my God, look how it all just.
Peter directed me in a movie, Leaving Barstow. That was fun to do something else with him. You know.
Yeah. I did a cartoon with Taya. We did voiceovers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, never really got to like, we weren't in the same room ever. Everything was all done, online and over Zoom and all that kind of stuff. But it was cute. Like her cartoon character was as gorgeous as her. Like it was funny. Yeah, I played like a fat Middle Eastern manager. It's like,
and she's like a young enough. She's gorgeous.
Yeah, she is, but I'm like, oh my god, the cartoon character is even gorgeous.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun little project. But
yeah. Hey, I do have to go. I've got to run an errand before we go to Taekwondo.
Oh, go. Okay. Thank you so much for the episode.
It was so much fun. Yeah, we'll do it again sometime.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's nice to meet you too. And if I come to London, let's meet up.
Definitely. Keep me posted.
Theater. Okay.
Okay. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Why do you always run back to?
Like, never stop chasing your dreams.
We drank way too much whiskey.
See?
And I confess, my addiction is you. Don't ask me why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I see her dancing on the floor beside you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You look at me and in my eyes you see the hurt I can't disguise. I want you. And though it seems I look right through, I'm noticing your every move. She's got you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. I turn away to mask the pain, but jealousy reveals my rage and madness. And knowing you can read my mind consumes me in a shameful kind of sadness. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You are my drug, my ever waking need. I got you in my blood. You've got me on my knees. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true.